Hey, this is Pat, and today we are checking out the all-new Dainese Fulcrum 3 Gore-Tex boots. Now, the Fulcrum 3s are replacing the Fulcrum 2s and are the ADV/touring option within Dainese's line. If you're looking at it, it does scream a little bit more touring, but Dainese's added some design features in it just to help out if, say, you're taking that touring bike off-road, maybe down some fire roads. This could be a great option for you. It's got a full leather main construction. It's got Gore-Tex, which is guaranteed to keep you dry. It's got a lot of features that help justify the $370 price point that these come in, which is $20 north of what we saw with the Fulcrum 2s that it was replacing. But let's talk about the overall fit, because there is something in there I want to mention that I think Dainese did very well. Now, I typically wear all my US shoes in a 10.5, and my European sizing is a 44, and the 44 in these fit me spot on. But what I like from Dainese is that they made it a little bit wider than they typically do in their footbed, slightly wide, which might come from their new ground track sole that I'll talk about in just a minute. But I like that it's a little bit wider. It opens up for more riders out there. Typically Dainese was a little bit on the narrow side, so if you've worn Dainese boots in the past, thought they were too narrow, this might be a great upgrade that you can come back to the brand in. So just keep that in mind. They only come in the one Johnny Cash and Ford colorway in black, so you don't have any choices there. But again, I like that they have Gore-Tex. I like that they're a full cowhide main construction. They're not using the synthetic leathers or anything like that. And I think the style is pretty spot on to be what this market is looking for. But let's talk about the overall features and break it down, starting at the top. Just like we've seen from Dainese boots in the past, you do have a double Velcro adjuster up at the top with a medial side zipper entry running down the outside. The one thing I will say is Dainese, for this price point, I don't want the male Velcro facing into my foot. If I have to adjust it or into my leg, you're gonna feel that male Velcro up against you, so just keep that in mind. You wanna wear some tall socks or any sort of base liner, just to keep that away from your skin. And Dainese, if you're listening on the next edition of these boots, I'd love to see that updated, but I do love that you can adjust it if you have oversized calves. I think that's a great feature. Looking at the inside, again, you do have a suede interior. It's going to be nice and minimalistic, so it's not going to catch on the controls. They did a great job at covering up the outer zipper. And that Gore-Tex liner, the gator, does come up to the top of that zipper, so you do have waterproofing as long as it's up to that point. You want to make sure your pants are going over top of that just to add in any additional waterproofing. Moving down the front of it, you do have a nice TPR shin protector. It's nice and soft. It's not rigid or anything like that, so it's going to give some protection without being uncomfortable if you're going out an all-day ride. Moving down from there, you do get some accordion stretch leather at the top of the tongue as well as across the midsole over here. And then you do have perforated leather running down to get air moving through. That's going to go to that waterproof liner, that Gore-Tex liner, so just keep that in mind, but it is nice to help get air to that liner to help evacuate moisture on longer wet rides. Moving down the front, you do have a brushed suede toe shifter area. You do get that on both sides, so it's not asymmetrical, it is symmetrical, but you do have that in there. It's an added piece of reinforcement. It's double stitched all the way around. That's gonna help you just for longevity of the boot. It's not gonna wear down in those key points. You do have a reinforced toe cap. You do have ankle pucks as well as a reinforced heel. But there's no sort of ankle bracing system, so just keep that in mind. These are just designed for some light, like I said, touring, ADV riding if you're running down fire roads. Anything more than that, you're probably gonna wanna look into more of an enduro or an off-road specific boot. Coming down to the sole, one thing I want to talk about is they are using an all-new sole here. We've actually seen this from the TCX brand in the past. Dainese is using a play out of their playbook using the Ground Track sole. Ground Tracks is a really nice reinforced grip rubber sole with a Z-plate reinforced shank on the inside, so it helps for that rigidity, but it's going to allow a lot of flex if you're walking around. Say if you're getting off the bike, walking up to see any sort of views or a destination or anything like that, you're going to be able to walk around all day. It's about a 6 out of 10 on the overall stiffness scale, so not overly rigid, something you can easily walk around in all day. Pulling it around to the back, one thing I just want to point out is you do have a nice soft textile material at the rear, nice pull, as well as the reinforced heel cap done in leather. I like that they did that. That's just, again, that's a prone area if you're coming off the pegs, if you're hitting anything on the bike, that's something that can easily wear down. So I do like that they added that in here. But all in, I'm very impressed with the Fulcrum 3s compared to the Fulcrum 2s. I think they did a great job in the overall styling, giving it a bit more of an ADV look, and still using the full cowhide main construction, that guaranteed Gore-Tex waterproof waterproofing. I think it helps justify the price because these are a bit steep. I'm not going to lie. These are up there, like I said, the $370 price point. But for what you're getting with the Dainese look and the Dainese style, I think it could be right for the right riders out there. This could be a perfect option for you. But if you have any other questions, click that info button. That's going to take you over to the product page where you can read other rider reviews and see what other riders are saying about the all-new Fulcrum 3. If you still have questions, feel free and reach out to our customer service team. They are all riders, happy to help you get set up for your next ride. I want to thank you for joining me and taking a look at the all-new Fulcrum 3 Gore-Tex boots from Dainese. I'm Pat, and I'll see you in the next video.